The Malaysian Rally is like no other event in the FIA Asia Pacific Rally Championship. Its roads are narrow, with deep ditches and big palm oil trees to catch you out if you go offline. There's choking dust 1 minute and pouring rain the next. But one thing in Malaysia that's always constant, it's hot, damn hot, and nothing can prepare you for it. Cool suits for the drivers are the norm here, and teams go to unusual lengths to cool off the drivers. It's a big contrast to where the championship has just come from, the cooler climates of the South Pacific. Swedish driver PONTUS TIDEMAND felt right at home there, racing to victory on the super fast roads in New Zealand. And then to second place in New Caledonia. A win in Queensland, Australia moved TIDEMAND into a commanding lead in the championship and earned him and co-driver Emil Axelsson the FIA Pacific Cup. For their MRF teammate Gaurav Gill, a win in New Caledonia and second place in New Zealand were the high points. Australia, though, was a disaster for the Indian star when his Skoda engine broke, not far from the finish line. The third contender for the championship is New Zealander Mike Young and the Cusco Easy Racing team. And while his Group N Subaru Impreza doesn't have the pace of the Skodas, Young was third in New Zealand, where he lost the lead to Gill by 1.2 seconds on the last stage. He then took another second place in Australia when Gill retired. The trio's in Malaysia for the fourth round of the FIA Asia Pacific Rally Championship, based in Johor Bahru, just across the causeway from Singapore. It's just 150 kilometres north of the equator. Johor Bahru is a bustling city, and within walking distance of Rally HQ there are night markets offering a huge selection of freshly cooked food, colourful produce, and plenty of places to relax after a day in the heat. After a one-day recce, the drivers and teams are keen to get into action, and with no testing venues available in Malaysia, Friday's shakedown is the one and only opportunity to test out the cars at speed. TIDEMAND finds out quickly that the jumps can be deceptive, nearly taking the nose off his Skoda on his first run. Both MRF cars do several runs on the shakedown stage, with changes being made by the Race Talk team to fine-tune the cars for the hot Malaysian conditions. Over the 2-kilometre shakedown course, TIDEMAND beats Gill for fastest time, but there's only hundredths of a second in it. And while he may be, narrowly, quickest of the two Skoda drivers, he's not that confident of being able to beat Gill in the coming rally.
It's really special. I've never seen something like this before. It will be good training, but it will be hard, I think, to have a fight with Gill here. There's no this road, so for me it's just to try to get to the finish.
And you're in a good position in the championship now, really, that you do only need to finish the events.
No, I don't think. It's still half of the season left, so everything can happen. But yeah, for sure, this will be a tough challenge. Then I think when we go to Japan and China, it will be more speed rally again. They say, I don't know, but so there we maybe can try to have some good fight again.
Starting number one on the road, Gill is concerned by the amount of long grass on the tracks, as it can quickly clog up the radiator air intakes.
This is a special rally of the year, and it's a very unique event. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. Conditions have been quite dry through the week, so I guess maybe it's going to be a dry rally, but you never know because it can just start raining anytime. Last year we had an issue with the tall grass, and it's even taller this year. So I guess we're going to carry out some modifications to the front end, to the front bumper of the car, so that it doesn't get collected in front of the radiator and overheats the car.
Young is third fastest for most of the shakedown. The New Zealander has done a lot of his rallying in Malaysia, but all of it in two-wheel drive cars. The extra power and traction of the Subaru will give the Kiwi an extra boost, but then he still has to manage the extreme heat.
Yeah, it's a big shot to the system. It's really hot here and humid, but we've been here for a few days, so we're starting to get used to it now, and luckily we have some cool suits for the rally, so hopefully it should be nice and cool in the car, but as long as you stay hydrated, it should be okay.
You've been here a few times and seen the roads before. What are they looking like this year?
I actually think the roads are really good this year. There's maybe 5, if that, rough patches, but the roads are actually really smooth and a hard base and dry at the moment. But of course that could change easily with just one bit of rain.
Indian driver Sanjay Takali has had to withdraw from this rally due to illness, and his Cusco team has flown in Japanese driver GENKI TAKEUCHI to take his place.
This rally is my first international rally. I hear this rally is very, very difficult and tough from teammate. And I hear, anyway, I must surely stay on the course. I want to get much experience and do my best.
In the last shakedown run of the day, Young drops to fourth fastest when Finnish driver JUSSI VALIMAKI, driving a Mitsubishi Evo 10 for the Chinese 1U team, goes nearly a second quicker. VALIMAKI is no stranger to the series. He was the APRC Drivers' Champion in 2005 with the MRF Mitsubishi team. It might be a one-off drive with the team owned by Chinese driver Fan, but it's a nice opportunity for VALIMAKI.
It's quite interesting to come back, and I want to pay my thanks to Mr. Fan that he made this happen. First kilometers today, and I have to say that the car is new and it's working perfectly so far, so let's hope it will continue during all the weekend.
Team owner Fan is in a similar car and aiming to win the APRC's 2015 FIA Asia Cup. He's very familiar with the local conditions. This is his third year competing in the Malaysian National Rally Championship, a series he's won 2 years in a row. After finishing second in the Asia Cup in 2014, Sri Lankan driver Dinesh Deheragoda returns to the championship, confident that what he learnt last year will give him a big advantage.
This time around it's much more, even more warmer and hotter. But I know the road's a little bit better than last year, so I think I'm in a little bit of a more advantageous position than last year.
Another driver competing in the Asia Cup competition is Japanese driver HITOSHI Takayama. Unfortunately, he only does a few runs of shakedown in his Subaru before the engine breaks a crankshaft. His car's still being worked on at the ceremonial start, but Takayama is hoping his service crew can finish the engine repair overnight in time for him to start the rally.
Maybe 80% now repairing my car, so maybe we start tomorrow.
Starting at number 10 is the Japanese crew of Kazuhiro Hayashi with co-driver Osamu Yoda. With the help of Malaysian royalty, all the competitors have flagged off at the Friday night opening ceremony before leaving the following morning for 2 days and 227 kilometres of special stages in the Palm Oil Plantations. After the break, the action and the drama starts on stage 1. The Malaysian Rally's reputation for being one of the most difficult events on the calendar bites immediately on stage 1 when PONTUS TIDEMAND spins just 2 kilometres into the test. But the time lost is minimal and the Swedish crew is soon back up to speed. Even with the spin, they win the stage by 16 seconds. But as they cross the finish line, the oil temperature is dangerously high. As predicted, it looks like the long grass is getting in the radiator inlets. Next to run into trouble is Young. Second fastest on the split times, he's looking good for a quick time through this first stage. But at the 15-kilometre mark, he understeers into a bank at high speed.
Off the brakes, off the brakes.
Young and co-driver Malcolm Reed struggle on for a few more kilometres, but with ominous noises coming from the front of the car, they're forced to pull over and retire, hoping to return for day 2.
So due to the damage, it pushed the tyre back, and so about 10 k's later the tyre went flat because it was hitting the rim. When we stopped, we decided to stop because it was getting a little bit too loud and we didn't want to cause too much more damage. But when we jacked the car up and we had all the spares underneath and we were trying to fix it, but when we went to jack it up again, the oil came out of the jack, and if you've got no jack, you can't put a tyre on basically. So that was it.
Third fastest for the stage is JUSSI VALIMAKI, but even so, he's also in trouble. The Mitsubishi has a badly damaged radiator, and VALIMAKI and co-driver Jaakko Kalliolepo are also forced to retire. After losing 16 seconds to TIDEMAND on the first stage, Gill pushes hard to reduce the gap on stage 2. He doesn't make it, but misses by just 0.4 of a second this time. Much worse though follows on the third test. It becomes a nightmare for Gill. Over the 23 kilometres, the overheating engine forces Gill and co-driver Glenn McNeil to stop to clear grass from the radiators, not once, but 3 times.
Get the belts off quickly. Yeah.
On the second occasion, TIDEMAND passes them, and then he too stops with the same problem. Gill's only 5th fastest for the stage, and another minute and 10 seconds is lost. The gap between first and second is now 1 minute and 25 seconds. Behind the MRF Skodas, there's an interesting battle developing for 3rd, 4th and 5th places, with Fan currently leading the pack in 3rd. And the good news story is that Takayama's Subaru was repaired in time to start the event, and the Japanese driver is posting some good times. After stage 3, he's 4th, 27 seconds behind Fan. However, rapidly moving up the leaderboard is TAKEUCHI. After a slow stage 1, when he was only 7th quickest, he's increased his pace, leaping to 5th after 3 stages and closing in on 4th place Takayama. Goda is 6th in his Mitsubishi, but he's off the pace, suffering from the heat. Hayashi is 2. With no cool suit, he's on the verge of heat exhaustion in the 2-wheel drive Proton and falls further and further behind the leaders. Gill easily wins stage 4 after TIDEMAND is again forced to clear grass from the radiator. By the time the leaders arrive back at midday service, Gill has reduced the deficit to just 35 seconds.
We're first on the road, so we're just collecting all the grass, and you can just see even now we've got some grass out. We have to, because the oil temperature and the water temperature goes up so much that the car overheats, and we have to stop and clear the grass because of the front bumper is so low and the grass is so tall in the stage.
And it's been a similar story for TIDEMAND.
Oh, it's been a really difficult morning. I don't know if I never have a difficult morning like this, but for sure the other roles are a problem, and we're leading, so it's it's good, but it's still really long to go, so it will be really challenge.
Fan consolidates his third place after having a really consistent morning in the Southeast Motors Mitsubishi. Takeuchi continues his recovery from a slow start, moving up to fourth by the final stage of the morning.
Malaysia road is very difficult and many junctions. One time overshoot.
Takayama goes off the road and loses 5 minutes, but still manages to hold fifth spot ahead of Hirogoda.
At the SS4, special speed 4, I have a slight mistake and drop 4 and 5 minutes. So it's very sorry for our team.
In the afternoon's fifth stage, Gill takes it easy, expecting more grass problems. Consequently, he loses another few seconds to TIDEMAND. Even more time is lost on stage 6, when again the radiator's blocked. Only this time it's not grass, but the remnants of his Skoda's front bumper. Dislodged after hitting a small depression, that's to blame. Co-driver McNeil is again forced to jump out of the car and clear the blockage. The damage to the front of the car is very obvious on the next stage, where, despite the damage, Gill wins the test by 4 seconds. After the break, the Malaysian Rally throws more challenges at the competitors. As we get to the end of day 1 of the Malaysian Rally, TIDEMAND starts to feel the effects of the afternoon heat. On the final 22-kilometre stage, he eases off. The slowdown allows Gill to claw back another 30 seconds. And so the MRF Skoda drivers finish the day first and second, separated by 1 minute and 19 seconds.
Hold up.
Fan continues to run strongly in the afternoon. He's third fastest on stage 5 and second on stage 6 when Gill hits trouble. With a 4-minute gap back to fourth place Takeuchi, Fan eases off the pace in the final 2 tests. His buffer on Takeuchi gets even bigger on stage 7 when the Japanese driver first goes off the road and then gets a flat tyre. The Cusco driver loses nearly 5 minutes to the leaders and drops to 5th. Takayama takes over in 4th, 45 seconds ahead of his countrymen. But on the last stage of the day, he starts to feel the effects of the long night overseeing the repair of his car. In the extreme heat, the exhausted Takayama drops back to 5th again, 10 seconds behind Takeuchi. 6th place to Hirogoda consolidates his position, but then runs into problems.
Just in the last stage, I think there was a fuel surge and we stalled on 3 places in the stage. And other than that, everything went off well. I think the last stage timings were not so good because we were just trying to make it to the finish. Looking forward to tomorrow.
Hayashi borrows a cool suit from another team and has a more comfortable time in the afternoon. His time's improving as a result, even if he is still well off the pace of the four-wheel drive cars.
My physical strength is empty.
Hayashi probably speaks for most of the drivers after what may be the hardest days rallying in the whole APRC season. Day 2 dawns brighter but thankfully cooler as all the competitors line up for the final 56 kilometres of the Malaysian Rally. With his Subaru repaired and panel beaten, Young rejoins to go for bonus points. The New Zealander immediately goes second fastest on the first stage, showing what might have been if he hadn't crashed out on day one. The MRF team has modified Gill's front bumper to try to stop it picking up so much grass. But unfortunately, the fix doesn't solve the problem. And frustratingly, he has to ease off in each stage to let the engine temperatures drop. As a result, Tiedemann increases his lead to over 2 minutes on the morning's 3 stages. While Fan continues in a safe third, there's a great battle going on for 4th place. Takeuchi increases his lead to 30 seconds on the first stage of the morning. On stage 10 though, Takayama chops the gap back to 7.5 seconds. Then on the next test, he moves into 4th place with a 10-second buffer. As all the cars arrive back at morning service, MRF Skoda team manager Lane Heenan gives an insight into why the Malaysian Rally is unique.
It's like every year here, just the heat and the humidity, it just takes its toll on everything. Like drivers especially, even the crew, it's just nothing can prepare them for it. And it's amazing. Every time we bring new drivers here, they all think it's not that bad. And after the first day, they go, this is unbelievable.
With Gaurav's problems this morning, he's got some overheating problems?
It's just the same thing, same as yesterday. Long grass, and Gaurav has obviously just picked up a bit more than Pontus did, and had to slow down and cruise through the end of one of the stages.
Pontus is doing well though in terms of he stayed out of trouble.
Yeah, he is, and he's probably in a little bit better position where he's got a bit of a gap, so he can manage that gap when Gaurav needs to try and make it up. So it's a little bit easier for him, but still another 35 k's to go. Yeah.
Cusco Racing team manager Takuya Sugimura is happy with the event so far.
I'm enjoying this weekend, and because TAKEUCHI is our first international, it's for him, but he is going well. And unfortunately, we had a problem with Mike Young yesterday, but today he's driving well.
With only 35 kilometres still to go, the afternoon should be a straightforward run to the finish. But not for De Hiragoda. He makes it through stage 12, but goes no further, thanks to a broken alternator belt. And there's another sting in the tail left yet, with rain falling on stage 13, where Tiedemann extends his lead to 2 minutes and 16 seconds. Further back, De Hiragoda's retirement lifts Hayashi to 6th place. The battle for 4th rages on between Takeuchi and Takayama. Finally, Takeuchi moves in front on stage 13 and holds the position to the finish, where he's 33 seconds ahead of Takayama. Fan has one of his best international finishes ever, with 3rd place, and has all but won the Malaysian Rally Championship for a 3rd time. Gill wins the last stage by 20 seconds to claw back some time, and 2nd place keeps him in the running for the Drivers' Championship with 2 rounds to go.
Yeah, great result for the team MRF. Both cars back at the end, so that's very important. It's good for the championship for the team, so I guess that's a brilliant result. Yeah, it's been a crazy weekend, for us, especially with so much grass hanging around in the stages. Just kept stopping by to clean the grass, and then just to top it off, we had a diff problem as well.
For Tiedemann, it's been a masterful drive on his first attempt at the event. However, he still can't believe how heavy the rain was on the last stages.
The rain, it's also, I've never seen a rain like this. It's just the sky was opening and it's so heavy. Yeah, it was. So the last stage I didn't enjoy it so much, just go to the finish. Been a great event, not so big problems. So we managed to come here, and also the winners. I'm really happy for this, and also for Jura that's in 2nd. That also had a lot of problems, but it's good for the team championship.
Tiedemann wins by nearly 2 minutes from Gill, with Fan a further 20 minutes behind. Just 33 seconds separate Subaru drivers Takeuchi and Takayama after their rally-long battle. And in the Worth Cup points, TIDEMAND still has a good lead over Gill, while Young gains 1 point from Malaysia, enough to move him into equal third place. As the drivers and teams celebrate on the podium, we look ahead to the next event in Japan, Rally Hokkaido.